Hey guys, Casual J Media here, and in today's video we're going to look at 5 underappreciated Sega Genesis games, in my opinion. Now, basically what I have here is a list of games, or a stack of games that I played growing up that I feel like a lot of people didn't really talk about, or the games that I think, due to just certain things that they bring to the table, deserved more love than they got. So first up is a game that I played a lot, and I actually got it at a Blockbuster in 1997, as you can see right there, hopefully. But yeah, got that at Blockbuster in 1997. That is a game called Outlander. You may have seen this game, you may have not. It's actually a very cool game, and what it is it was originally planned to be a Mad Max Sega Genesis title. You can look at it, I mean the vehicle, the way they're dressed, the post-apocalyptic world, everything about this game screams Mad Max. And I don't know if something happened, maybe agreement fell through or something, but they ended up having to change the name, and now it's called Outlander. So you're actually driving this car, it's in first person, you have machine guns mounted on the car, and you're driving through the desert, just like in Mad Max. And you get motorcycle gangs that come up and they'll hit the side of your car with chains, and then when they do that, it's really cool because you keep your view driving forward, but then you have the screen that pops up that shows like what's on your right side of the window. And if you press a button, you can take this double barrel shotgun and just blow these biker guys up, just blow them away. If you run up on them, like if they're in front of you and you slam into them, they'll fly over the windshield and you can see them in your mirror like flying back down and hitting the road. It's really crazy and actually pretty impressive what they were able to do. I'll have some footage of that for you, but you have to, you can actually run out of fuel, so you have to like pull over, get ammo, get fuel, and when you pull over to the side of the road, you can pull over in different cities and different locations, and you get out of your vehicle, and now this game is a side-scrolling game. I mean, it's a side-scrolling shooting game or action game. You walk around, you find ammo, you find fuel, you fight bad guys, I think you have a shotgun that you start with. There's guys that come by on motorcycles. It's a really cool game, very underappreciated game in my opinion, and very impressive what they were able to do with the dual views. Your first person view, and then you have like your side view pops up and just pulling out the shotgun. Very epic. Alright, so next game on the list is a game that I do not have complete, unfortunately. It's kind of on my list to get, but it's a game I played a lot growing up, and that is Pirates Gold. Initially, when you look at this game, you're like, it doesn't look that great, but the cool thing about this is you play as a pirate, and you actually sail the open seas. You have a big pirate map so you can see where you're going. You have random encounters with some different, pirates and things like that. And you can start with like a small ship, work your way up to a bigger ship. You can fight these pirates. You can sink their ship, or you can go on there and take all their stuff, or you can just choose to sink it. You can recruit the crew. So whenever you beat them in battle, you can see if the crew wants to join you, or you can just sink their ship and whatever happens till it happens. The cool thing about this is not only is it open world, it's like a top-down view, but if you choose to ram your ship into another enemy ship, you actually go into a side-scrolling view where you are now sword fighting the captain of the other ship, and it's really cool. If you hit him enough and like lower his health enough, he'll say he surrenders, and then you can choose to have his crew join yours. You can pick and choose what goods you want to bring to your ship. Those goods are important because the goods actually help keep your crew members happy. So if you have a huge ship with a bunch of crew, you're gonna have to keep them well fed and keep them happy in order to, to keep them from leaving you or to keep them performing at their best. You even have the option to go onto land, dig for treasure, or go to a city and you can go and marry the governor's daughter and form alliances. It's really cool. You can go to the shipyard and work on your ship, and it's very cool. There's even land to sea battles, so you can go and fight a fort or whatever, and you can fire different cannons, and depending on how many crew members you have and how many cannons you have determines the rate of how many times you can fire and the time in between each time you fire the cannons. It's a very in-depth game, and it's a very open world game for a Sega Genesis title. I used to love getting on there and just exploring the seas, seeing who I come across, fighting them and just ramming my ship into theirs and sinking them, and maybe taking their crew members with me. So Pirates Gold, make sure you check it out. Alright, so next up on the list is a classic. I don't hear too many people talking about it, but that is Quackshot on the Sega Genesis. Quackshot, you play as Donald Duck, and you are basically almost like an Indiana Jones style character. You have like the treasure map, and you go from level to level looking for a treasure, and you have to get it before Big Bad Pete. And it's a very fun game. It's called Quackshot, and you actually have this plunger gun, so you can shoot these plungers into walls and enemies, and you can jump on them and get over obstacles. It's got a lot of unique gameplay. The music is great. The animation, everything about this game is just very high quality. These games are the best. Like some of these Disney games and things like that, they just have amazing quality. You go anywhere from the deserts to castles and caves, and it's a very fun game. It's kind of underrated. It's just a very quality game. I would actually love to see a remake of this if they haven't done so already. Alright, so next up is a game I played a lot as well, and that is The Adventures of Batman and Robin on the Sega Genesis. Now this one is actually a side-scrolling beat 'em up, I guess. Shooter beat 'em up, if I had to describe it. It's a beat 'em up, but the way the game works, it's more of a shooter. So, for instance, Batman throws batarangs. And he throws batarangs more than he punches. You can run up and punch people, but it's mostly just throwing batarangs. The graphics in this game are very, very good. It has a kind of a techno music beat to it. Great music. It transitions from side-scrolling to top-down and side-scrolling missions where you're flying through the city in the Batwing. It's a very hard game, but it's very fun, and it's two-player co-op. And like I said, the graphics are great, and I think this is still a pretty affordable game. This is just a custom case I got, but there it is, The Adventures of Batman and Robin. Very fun, great graphics, great music, and it's just a game. Get a friend and just go and tear people up. I do recommend playing with a Retron 5 because you are going to want to use the save states because this game is extremely difficult. Alright, so next up on the list is a game called Red Zone. And the first thing I want to say about Red Zone is it has an amazing box art going on here. And this game surprised me. It's one I did not play as a kid. I kind of played it more recently. One thing that surprised me about this game is the graphics. I didn't know the Sega Genesis had the capabilities under the hood that this game shows that it has. So when you first start up the game, you get this cutscene, and it looks like real-time footage of like actual World War II footage. It's really crazy seeing that on a cartridge. But basically there's this evil Russian dictator, and he's threatening the world with nuclear war, and you're basically, you just have to stop him. The game starts out, you're in a helicopter, like an attack helicopter. You have this map with all the enemies on it, and your goal is to clear the map. You have smart missiles and rockets and machine guns and bombs, and you have a set amount of those. So you just go around and destroy the enemies. And the cool thing is, like, when you're in this top-down helicopter view, if you get damaged, you start losing control of your helicopter, and you actually have to constantly maintain control. He'll start trying to spin out of control. So it makes the game more realistic and more difficult, because toward the end of the first level, when you're damaged and you're barely hanging on and you're still trying to fight, it's very difficult. Because if you just let your hand, if you were to put the controller down and not touch it, that thing would just spin out of control. You have to manually hold a certain turn on it and try to keep it steady, and it's very cool. You have a status screen. You go into a menu. It shows you your objectives, your missions, your current status with your vehicle. And the cool thing is on the bottom right, when you're playing, it shows your pilot. So whenever he says something, he'll pop up and it'll show his face. It really pulls you in, and the graphics are great. There's a lot of 3D style pop-up graphics. Just for instance, on the back it says full rotating, fully textured background graphics, real 3D view enemies, ammo caches and other objectives, a real-time zoomable map. So that's one thing I haven't tried, but according to this you can actually zoom in and out on the map, which is pretty cool. It does have full motion video sequences, the cutscene when you lose and the cutscene in the beginning are just amazing. It looks like something straight out of World War II footage. So the first level, like I said, was a attack helicopter. You're wiping out enemies on this base or in this area. The second level, or once you get past the helicopter part, it's a top-down shooter, and the graphics in that are amazing too. It's a fully 3D top-down shooter. You're running around inside the base shooting people, and there's like light effects, and you can see the 3D rendered objects like moving as you go around them. It's very cool and not something you would expect to see on a Sega Genesis, but this is a great game. I wish it had multiplayer, but it doesn't. And quick note, this game, at least for me, does not work on the Retron 5. I put it in there over and over. I cleaned it. It would get to the menu screen, like the main menu. I would hit start, and then it would just restart back to the Retron 5 menu. So I think it has to do with all the different effects that are in this game. I'm not sure. You know how certain games have like certain chips in them and things? I'm thinking this game has something like that going on that just doesn't play well with the Retron 5. But that is a Red Zone. Amazing game. Totally underrated in my opinion with what it was able to accomplish graphically on the Sega Genesis. And everything about this game is just super hardcore and just really cool. I mean, the box art really says it all right there. That is the game. It is awesome. But anyways, guys, these are 5 underappreciated Sega Genesis games in my opinion. Let me know if some that you think are great games that maybe don't get enough attention. Leave that in the comment section below. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks.